Week 4. I have come to accept that I don't think I'm gonna make my 50,000 word goal. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But that doesn't mean this whole month is a failure. In fact, I think I created a really healthy habit for myself. I've incorporated writing like significant amount into every day of this month so far. Good news, I finished a short story. One of the short stories that I was planning to work on during NaNoWriMo after I finished the novel. So that's two things. That's two things I've completed this month in addition to that glass of beer over there. And now I'm currently working on another short story. This is my third project that I want to get done this month, and it is overall pretty challenging. I wanted to write more personal stuff, really dive deep into my gut and find things that are disturbing and unpleasant. To write something personal, you have to go to the shadowy places and light a match, and then before it burns out, jot down everything you feel and see. Then get out of there before the darkness swallows you. These little writing sprints have been really useful in me writing about these dark topics. A really good niche for me to be in is perhaps dark comedy, and that should be an area I practice in. But in order to write dark comedy, I feel like you first have to write dark. As you start to rework it, you inject it with comedy. What is comedy? Tragedy plus time equals comedy. So I believe in that, and that is currently what I'm working on. I feel very happy that this NaNoWriMo process has brought me to this point, because I feel a little bit more focused on what I should be working on in terms of being a writer. Another thing that I accomplished this week is that I submitted one of my short stories into a writing contest. I've been working on the short story for the first half of 2019, and I'm glad I was able to get it out. I had to submit it the old-fashioned way by snail mail. Do people call it snail mail? I'm very proud of myself for doing that, because it's so easy to say, oh, I have to take an extra step, I'm not gonna do it. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. So I feel proud of myself for doing that. And maybe I'll even win. Probably not, but that is not the point. The point is to do it. It's not to win. All right, now for the second part of this NaNoWriMo update, and that's my coffee shop review. Oh yeah. So if you've been watching my NaNoWriMo updates, you know that each week I'm going to a different coffee shop to try to do some writing, and while I'm there, I am gonna review it from the perspective of someone who wants to get some work done. I think that's very valuable information. So I'm checking out different coffee shops in Vancouver, and this week I went to Finch's Market in Strathcona, Vancouver. Strathcona is actually a very lovely area. Every time I go there, it makes me feel like I've stepped back in time, especially if I just walked out of like downtown Vancouver, where like there's high rises and it's all like glass and everything. It's very modern. Finch's, especially, every time I go in there, it is like time travel. So how do I feel about it? What is it like to actually work there? So the first category I want to talk about is Wi-Fi. So how is the Wi-Fi at Finch's Market? It's actually really good. They post the Wi-Fi password in visible areas, so you don't have to even talk to the barista or the server. As an introvert, that is a very nice thing to do, because I don't like asking people for things. I didn't have any problem with it. I just sat down, I started working, I logged on. It was just smooth sailing the whole way through. Not a single hiccup with the Wi-Fi. So with that, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 for Wi-Fi. Next, let's talk about comfort. So Finch's is this really cozy and homey place. I'm a big fan of all the old-timey things hanging on the wall, and especially the wooden aesthetic. To me, there's nothing more comfortable than a cozy cabin. All it needed was like a fireplace in the corner, and I'm sold. But it's also worth mentioning that this place is like a store. They sell milk and fruit, and it's also a restaurant. They serve a lot of fresh sandwiches, salads, and soup. In terms of comfort, there will probably be someone enjoying a meal around you, so that is something to keep in mind if you're working. I recommend not going there during breakfast or lunch hour. I assume it will be very busy. Seating might not be as readily available. However, I went during a pretty quiet time, a few hours before they close. They close at 4 p.m. They don't open on Sundays, so that's worth keeping in mind as well. I went around 2 p.m. and it was really the perfect time to go. I had a whole 4 to 6 seater dining room table to myself, and I could just sort of spread out and do my work, and it was actually really comfortable and really nice. I didn't get too much written because I was working on a very challenging part in my story. However, that didn't take away from the comfort level. I was pretty comfortable. So I have to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Next, let's talk about noise level. As I mentioned before, I was there during a very quiet time, but even then, there were a lot of people coming in and out, ordering coffee or getting food, and there was a large group of girls at another table enjoying their lunches. Even then, none of that really bothered me because, like I said, I had a whole table to myself, so there was enough room to separate me from everything else that was going on. I was still pretty close to the counter and the bar, and now and then I do hear the people talking, ordering, or having conversations. That's all very normal, but none of them really interfered with my concentration, which I think is the most important thing. The music cut in and out occasionally, but that wasn't really a problem at all. So with that being the case, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. There you go. Lastly, let's talk about coffee. How was their coffee? I decided to get a mocha just to stay consistent. I know I didn't get a mocha in all of my reviews. I really should have. That is my coffee drink of choice. How was the mocha? I must say I'm a little bit disappointed by it. It was probably the most photogenic cup of mocha I had in this whole experience. However, it was a little light. It wasn't as creamy and as smooth as I was hoping it to be, and it was also served in I ordered the small, but it was actually a pretty small cup, like the stereotypical diner coffee cup. A large might have been a better deal, but it really wasn't that great. It wasn't the best deal. It wasn't super expensive either, but I kind of I was hoping it would have been a bit better. And also, if you get the large, you get an extra shot. I should have gotten the large. If you go, get the large. I'll pay a little bit more for the large. Coffee is not necessarily the deal breaker. It's more of the bonus. I mean, if you're there working, it's always nice to have a really killer cup of coffee, and I didn't necessarily have that this time, so that kind of brought the experience one level back. So with that being the case, I have to give the coffee at Finch's Market a 3 out of 5. Overall, I had a great experience working at Finch's. I'm certain I would go there again. It's actually a nice spot. I kind of wish it would be open on Sunday, but you can't have everything, at least not all at once. So with that being said, I'm gonna give Finch's Market in Strathcona, Vancouver a 4 out of 5 in terms of workability as a writer. There you go. So there you have it. That is my NaNoWriMo week 4? Week 4, wow. Week 4 update. Strangely enough, November, the way I sort of structure it and the way I publish videos, there will be one more update one more coffee shop review before I return to some of my regular programming that I've been doing on my YouTube channel. So get ready for that. If you would like to follow my journey, please subscribe. Please let me know if you're in the Vancouver area, what coffee shops you like to work at, because I am always super eager to check them out. Anyways, that's me for this week. I will see you soon.